Hi, this is Brian Forster, and these are some of the amazing tours we're offering in 2019. We're going to India to see some of the amazing caves and temples that are carved or were carved out of solid bedrock. Now, in many cases, this bedrock is basalt, which is very hard, so it's highly unlikely that the ornate surface carvings and the caves and temple structures themselves are contemporary with one another. It's much more likely that the caves and temples are thousands of years older than most academics believe. Then they were found by the people of India, and the ornate carvings were done on the surfaces later. So what you're seeing is evidence of megalithic construction in India that most people don't know about. We're bringing our geologist Susan Moore with us, who's been to India before, and also Patricia Lehman is coming with us. So this is a spectacular tour in January of 2019. Check it out at hiddenincatours.com. This, for example, how could this have possibly been done even with steel tools? It looks like it was done with machines. So once again, Advanced Technologies and Wisdom of the Ancients Tour, January 2019. Then we have Jordan. Many of you will have heard of Petra in Jordan, but did you realize that Petra is not simply this structure, the treasury, but actually covers 12 kilometers or 7 miles in size? This chamber alone is 300,000 cubic feet in volume, so there's no way that this was achieved, again, by steel tools or by the so-called Nabatean people who supposedly constructed it 2,000 years ago. Once again, it's far more likely that it was found by the Nabateans 2,000 years ago, and they did some ornate carving on the surfaces. Because this structure is 12 kilometers, or at least 10 kilometers away from the famous treasury. And as you walk the 12 kilometers, you will see chamber after chamber carved into the stone bedrock. And this is not simply red sandstone. This is quartzite, which has a hardness of 7 out of 10 on the Mohs scale, with diamond being 10. And therefore, some form of high technology would have to have been utilized to create so many carved niches, chambers, and surfaces. So that's Jordan in April 2019. Then, this is Baalbek in Jordan, and there is Irene leaning against probably a 400 to 600 ton block. This, of course, is the famous Stone of the Pregnant Woman, weighing in at 1,200 tons, still attached to the bedrock surface. And there's one next to it on the left that has been excavated recently, and it's 1,600 tons. Here we have Yusuf Awiyan in the city of Byblos. And this, of course, is my recent book on the megaliths at Baalbek in Lebanon. Also, there are these huge column sections, perfectly flat and almost perfectly round. And these ancient pillar sections made of granite, which we find in the walls at Byblos. And these 800-ton blocks in place at the temple at Baalbek. So Baalbek is huge in scale, much bigger than most people realize, and we will be spending at least a full day there. Just look at the sense of scale in this photograph. So that's Lebanon tour, again in April of 2019. Then we have Mexico. Most people do not see objects like this, but these are obviously pieces of stone, obsidian, that were machined. They were found at Olmec sites, but it's clearly obvious that the Olmec inherited them from a much more high-tech culture that existed in Mexico thousands of years before. And here, look at this 6-ton basalt beam located at Mitla in Oaxaca, and then the rubble-like other work around it. And this 10-ton beam next to me, again with inferior construction around it. And here again at Mitla, look at the fine precision, no mortar whatsoever, and the rubble below it. Clearly it was rebuilt, as well as fascinating sculptures like this with an elongated head. What does it symbolize? And of course, the famous Olmec heads. This is the museum at Jalapa, and there are at least 20 of the Olmec heads there. We will also be exploring at Cholula, this tunnel system, and one of the world's largest pyramidal structures. So that's Mexico in February of 2019. And then we have Turkey. This, of course, is Göbekli Tepe. Turkey is now very safe since ISIS has been destroyed. We'll be visiting Mount Nemrut, which is where we find these amazing works, and lots. Turkey has an incredible amount of megalithic construction. Here, of course, is Cappadocia, the underground city, one of many underground cities in the area. And here we will visit again thoroughly. We never do superficial work. We always visit these sites in a very thorough manner. So Turkey will be a spectacular tour, and I hope you will be able to attend. We'll also be going to Istanbul and have a great tour of the Hagia Sophia, which was once the largest Christian church in the world. And of course, Göbekli Tepe. We know that Göbekli Tepe was buried on purpose 10 to 12,000 years ago. But why and by whom? So that's Turkey in September of 2019. I hope you can come with us.